Okay, so hello, I am Wendy Evans, and I am the co-founder of Dine Xpert. And Dine Xpert is an online marketplace connecting local suppliers with local restaurants, kind of like a wholesale Instacart. So I started Dine Xpert because I was a restaurant owner myself. And a few years ago, we became really frustrated with the traditional suppliers that we were working with. One of the things that was happening is the suppliers earn their revenue based on sales commissions for the most part, and so we found that our prices were always moving, and it really just depended on what we were focused on. So if we were focused on chicken, If we were focused on chicken, then the chicken pricing would be really good for a few weeks, and as soon as we took our eye off that, the prices would go up. Not related to the market, just because the sales reps were moving the prices around. And at one point, we finally just got fed up with this, and we wanted to see if there were other alternatives that we could find good products, quality products, at reasonable, fair prices. That's all we were looking for. Didn't need to be the lowest price, but just reasonable prices. So we started on this journey talking to a lot of other local suppliers, the smaller people that are supplying wholesale in this market. And we realized they had great products and very competitive pricing, but it was really hard for our chefs to buy from so many people at once because they were small businesses. Not all of them had their products online. It was hard to figure out what they were offering. It was hard to figure out what the prices were. Some of them had online systems, so the chefs were going from system to system to system, and others didn't have anything at all, so they needed to call them and literally call in their order, very old school, and try to piece all of these things together. So that's where I came up with this idea that there's got to be a better way to serve both the small suppliers and kind of connect them and provide more revenue for them, and also serve these independent small restaurants. They're not chains, they're not institutions, they don't have the buying power of the big groups, so they're just trying to make the best of their business and aggregate them too, and bring them both together in a marketplace. So that is where Dine Xpert came from. So again, the two problems on the restaurant side were really about, number one, pricing, that there was not a fair and consistent way to figure out your pricing, and the result of that was that they were paying significantly more than most of the chain restaurants. I mean, like 40, 50% more. So it was a very, very big price differential. And number two, the other problem for local restaurants is that they do prefer these local suppliers, but it's just so time-consuming. And on the supplier side, they're small businesses too, and so they often would have 0 sales reps, sometimes 1 sales rep, going out to the market and just reach whoever they happen to be able to get in contact with that particular time, but they really didn't have a way to reach the bigger wholesale restaurant market. So we decided we were going to take this on and revolutionize the way that local restaurants buy food. The way we do this is by bringing them together, but also with this flat and transparent pricing. Everyone who buys from our marketplace, like you would buy from a retail store, has access to the same pricing. We don't try to manipulate or change the pricing based on the restaurant or the day of the week or whatever the flavor of the month is. And that alone has resulted in significant savings from the restaurants that are already working with us. We're talking like $10,000 plus per year. The other thing is we bring it all together to make it easy. So we pre-vet the suppliers, we make sure that these are quality, trusted people. We pull them all together in one marketplace, we have the pricing there, it's easy for people to search and find what they're looking for. And we also provide additional layer of service by resolving any issues they might have with a supplier through us, so they don't have to go to multiple people at once. And we're also integrating payments, which we didn't start with that, but we are integrating payments as well. Not all suppliers take credit cards. That's a big plus for restaurants. Many of them manage their cash flow by using credit cards and other things, and so bringing that into the marketplace will also be a big solution for them. And then for the suppliers, connecting them to this channel that they may not have great access to provides them additional revenue, and by taking on the payment process, that also saves them a lot of time checking the credit of the restaurants, going after them and trying to secure payment and so on. So the way it works is that the restaurants register on our site. Wholesale's a little bit different than retail. It's not like an Amazon where you can just go on and buy and be done with it. There is a little bit of logistics and routing that the suppliers have to have in place because they're delivering giant, pallets almost of food to some of the restaurants. So the restaurant registers, selects the suppliers they're interested in. We can help them figure out who they want to buy from and what fits with their business model. Then the suppliers connect to that restaurant. They set them up with an account, figure out what delivery days they want. And then the restaurant, once that's done and that connection happens, then the restaurant just orders online, and then it does become more like a consumer experience where they order what they need, they see the products every day with the prices that they can pay, and they order as needed. The local suppliers then deliver it, and at some point we'll move to independent drivers as well, so we can service a little bit more of the on-demand rather than the pre-order that most restaurants are used to. And then the restaurant pays by credit card or ACH from their bank account, and we manage that. We'll manage that payment flow and pay the suppliers. So we think this brings a competitive edge to the market by providing these transparent prices, which is often lower for the restaurants, making it easy to use, and just providing an overall better experience while still supporting great local suppliers that have great products. And I would love to take your questions. So in conclusion, Dine Xpert is an online marketplace connecting local restaurants to local suppliers like a wholesale Instacart. And I'd love to take any questions you may have. Seth.
So are you finding that what the restaurants want or what they like from having local sources, is it more the pricing, or is it more the kind of the story of this being locally sourced? Kind of like, is it the qualitative aspect of it being local, or is it the quantitative aspect of there's more competitors, therefore the price is lower?
It's not so much the story. It does need to be a quality product, so there is kind of that bar, like anyone purchasing any product, right? You still need to kind of reach a certain threshold of quality, but then beyond that, it is the competitive pricing and the ease of use and just having it. It's lower price than what they can usually get from the traditional channels. What else? Any other questions, comments? Yes, the one over there.
Sorry, I didn't catch at the beginning, but how long
That's
you've
okay.
been doing this now?
We started kind of testing it with a number of restaurants last January, so about a year and a half. What else? Yeah.
When you try to expand, it sounds like, the goal is to get a lot of local suppliers and a lot of local buyers on. Where do you approach the suppliers first and ask them to join first, or the buyers, and how does that expansion process work? Say you wanted to move to a new place. I think when I'm thinking it through, would it be hard to get buyers on there if there's no suppliers, or vice versa?
Yeah, that is such a good question because it's kind of the heart of the marketplace dilemma, right? Which side do you go for first? We found that we really did need products first in order to get the restaurants onboarded, so we decided to start with the supplier side. And in this market, we have more than a dozen suppliers and many, many products, like 200 or 25,000 some products at this point. So we've got a pretty extensive line, and that would be the way that we would approach each new market. Right now, though, because some of our suppliers cross different markets, we kind of already have started that path really for ourselves. We would go into the markets where those suppliers already have a footprint, probably would be the next step, and then expand beyond past that. And then the buyers after that.
So do you monetize both the restaurant side and the supplier side? Is that like a SaaS payment?
That's a really good question too. We started trying that, and so we were charging the restaurants a membership fee, is what we called it, like a Costco kind of is how we would explain it to them. Since it's not just a software service really, it's them buying products, but we didn't find that was very successful. It kept a lot of people out of the market. And at the same time, we were charging the suppliers a percentage fee, and that's where we found the most success and didn't seem to have any problem with the supplier side at all. So that's where we're focused right now, is taking a percentage from the volume that we bring to suppliers. They pay us a fee. What else?
All right, another question. How does this product differentiate from other, for example, Choco. I don't know if you know
Oh,
them.
that's just an ordering system. So
Okay.
that's just software, basically. So
So is this
there's no products in there. You would send them, I know that product really well, you would
Okay.
send them a copy of your invoices, and they basically can just digitize that so you can order the same things that you've ordered before, excuse me, from those suppliers, but they don't have a marketplace at all. It's just the software.
Okay. So this isn't a SaaS product?
It's really not. I mean, it's more like an Amazon or Instacart where there's not the software tool so much. Yes, it's online, but it's about the marketplace that the value is brought together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I saw someone. Oh, yeah.
So kind of along with that question, who do you see as your main competitors like in the market now? Or is this like total new virgin territory that you're
Yeah,
bursting out on?
there are always competitors, and so the traditional distributors are really Cisco and US Foods, and there are some regional suppliers that do that. There are also competitors like Costco, and there are some restaurant warehouse stores like Smart Food Service and Restaurant Depot. So we kind of cross a lot of them, but in a little bit of a different way. So I would not say they're a head-on competitor. We do quite a different thing than any of those companies do, but they are all in the same marketplace vying for the dollars.
As far as marketing, what have you done? Like, how have you gotten the word out to the different restaurants and producers?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Right now, we've really been testing it to make sure that we understood the value proposition, and we've kind of made changes along the way for that first year and a half. And then, of course, COVID kind of put a stop in it for a little while, but we've gone pretty manually. So I just reach out to restaurants directly. I look them up in Yelp. I call them up, or I'm driving around and I might stop in and say hello, pre-COVID time. And so it's just been little by little. And now we have enough restaurants that we've learned a lot and kind of made some changes from that. And we're planning to relaunch and go a little bit broader in January, in Q1. Yeah. Yes, go ahead. AJ.
Thank you. Hey, Wendy, love your brand. Do you have any fun, exciting things on the horizon with your brand by chance?
Yes, we do. So we are a RevRoad portfolio company, and the amazing marketing team that AJ leads is doing some great things to come up with both a new name, which I'm not going to share yet, and also a brand that goes along with it. So we're very excited to see when that happens. Yeah. Oh yeah, please.
Very excited to hear all about that.
Oh,
by the way.
good, thanks.
So, do you manage any inventory, or are you just the connection between suppliers and restaurants?
We're just the connection. We do gather the inventory, so the suppliers send that information to us. Our biggest supplier, we have a more automated connection, but the smaller suppliers will send it to us, and we load it into our system.
How do you deal with restaurants that already have contracts with other suppliers and such? How do you go around that?
Well, they have a couple of options. If they want to buy a lot of products with us, they would need to wait till their contract ends. But most of the restaurant contracts are for 70 to 80% of their business, so there's still quite a bit of room in that 20 to 30% where it really wouldn't matter. Even if they had a contract, they could still use us for other supplies that they need. What else?
Cool.
That's it,
Well,
yeah.
if there's no more questions, we have one last question for you, and that
Okay.
is, what can the 1 Million Cups community do for you?
Oh, if you have any other ideas or questions for me, send them my way. I love to get feedback, so my email is wendy@dinexpert.com. So, I'd love to be connected. Thank you.